Hi there and welcome along to something completely new. Instead of row along, we're doing ride along. We're on the bike today. Now this is the very first one that I've done, so I would really appreciate if you left some kind of comment just to let me know what you thought of it, if there's anything we can change and do better. Now today's workout is going to be a 30-minute bike ride, so it's not going to be too tough. There's going to be some sprint intervals in there, a little bit of a tempo, and it's going to be a warm up and a cool down, and it's just going to be a nice half hour together. Now I'm currently sitting in Yorkshire on Zwift, and that gives you something more exciting to look at than my face cycling the entire time. And now what I've done is this is the same as the RowAlong workouts, where I am agnostic in terms of what you're using. So whether you're on a smart trainer using Zwift, or whether you're on a bike erg or you're on a dumb trainer, really I'm going to talk in terms of just the amount of effort you're putting into things and the kind of whether you're going to go a fast cadence or a lower cadence or just a normal cadence. Okay, I'm not going to be too prescriptive about what you're doing. I'm just going to let you know what kind of intensity you're supposed to be experiencing. Okay, so we might as well get started then. So we're going to start off with a 4-minute warm-up, and we're just going to gradually increase pace as we get through. Okay, so you ready? You all clicked in? Make sure you've got some water and a towel and stuff. Okay, let's go then in 3, 2, 1, go. There we go. So I've got my nice lava cycling kit on today. I'll just find my right gear. So I've got a mixture of different gearing selections that I can use here. You might be on a bike erg, in which case you don't have that. You're just, you've got, I suppose you could probably lean down and adjust the drag factor on the machine if you want to make it harder and things. But hopefully, like I say, the cadence side of all of this should work out fine for you. That when I say it's just a nice gentle warm up, then I just want this to be a nice gentle warm up. We'll increase it a little bit through this 4 minutes, just to make sure that your heart rate gets up and things. But much like the rowing, I'd want this first kind of couple of minutes of this warm up just to be about getting your body moving, get your heart rate up a bit, think a little bit about your kind of comfort on the bike, make sure that you're sitting on the right part of the saddle and all that kind of stuff. And we will do we'll maybe do one interval out of the saddle today. You don't have to follow when I say get out of the saddle, but you can if you wish. So how are we doing? Right, so we're 1 minute 20 into this first warm-up chunk. Should we call it a chunk? See, I've not even got designations for this stuff yet. My cadence is down at 65, so I'm going to increase it a little bit. The only thing is that because I've got Zwift set to actual power for me anyway, it's kind of gradually increasing my wattage as I go through this, so I can't actually overgun it, so I might have to go through and set things a little bit differently for myself next time. So what we're going to do is at the end of this 4-minute warm-up, we're going to do 6 15-second fast bursts, if you want to call them. I suppose they're going to be sprints. What I want you to do is just get up to quite a high cadence. So my warm-up's run about 65 to 70, so I'm looking for these 15-second bursts to be closer to around about 100 RPM for my cadence. So intensity-wise, I mean, if you think, if this warm-up right now, you give around about a 5 out of 10 in terms of effort, you're just kind of easing yourself through, and you're connecting with your legs, but your heart rate's up a little bit, but it's not actually that tough. The sprints we're about to do are going to be closer to around about 8 out of 10, okay? So it's going to be pretty full on, but not max. There is going to be a max sprint towards the end of this workout, but right now, when we start in a minute's time on these 15-second bursts, it's just going to be around about 8 out of 10. Someone just gave me a ride on. S. Cairns from Canada. You've got to like the Canadians, eh? Okay, so in 40 seconds time, so what we're going to do is 15 seconds on, 15 seconds off 6 times. And it's going to be a fast burst. Okay, so it's only 15 seconds of the burst, but I want your cadence to go up and your effort to really be around about 8 out of 10, okay? Might take a while for you to get used to what that intensity of an 8 out of 10 is, but like I say, I want to keep this agnostic so that it's not specific to a piece of software or whatever kind of bike you're using. Okay, so in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. So ramp it up, get that cadence up, adding more power. I'm obviously adding too much power because Zwift is reducing my my trainer. Okay, so I got up to around about 90 cadence there, but I might take some of the, change a different gear so I can get powerful enough. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go again. Get that cadence up. You're not overspinning, but I want you to get the cadence up. Feel that effort. It'll be hard to judge an 8 out of 10 so early in the workout, but like I say, this is when we really work on understanding our body and things. So, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. It's a different way of doing things on a bike compared to a rower in terms of really overspinning it like this. 2, 1, stop. What was that, 3 of 6? Got 3, 4, yeah, 3 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Get that cadence up. Hopefully you're feeling the intensity here just rise from where you were for that warm-up. There you go, a bit better for cadence. I was still mid-90s though. Had a long day doing the garden today, so that's my excuse today. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I think for sure next time I'm going to turn off the Zwift controlling power thing, because I really want to be going a little bit harder than this, but it keeps on dropping the resistance on my trainer. 1, stop. 1 more to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Last one of these. I'm hoping you can see the counter on Zwift well enough that you can see when to start and stop yourself, and it's not just down to me. Stop. Always bringing it up, because I'm not always going to remember. I guess if you're watching this off a phone in front of you, you might not be able to see it. But there is, in fact, we've got 2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minute, just back down at a little bit more intense than your warm-up pace, but not as intense as you were just rowing, if you get what I mean. If you don't know, if you've never seen the Zwift software before, then let me explain. Right slap bang in the middle, well, slap bang in the middle is me, but above that is the kind of your HUD, what do you call it, your heads-up display. So you can see my power is the big number. Right now I'm kind of 155. It's wanting me to hold 160 right now, so I'm kind of where I should be. But above that, you can see it's like a black line that's filling up with grey right now, which isn't very helpful. You might not be able to see it, but that's what to keep an eye on for a time duration thing. If you can't actually see the numbers, because it says like 1 minute right now, which means there's 1 minute to go. If you can't see those numbers, then just keep an eye on the bar filling up. Below on the bottom right hand corner is my heart rate and my current cadence. So I'm currently doing 69 RPM. Then top right on that little HUD is the time elapsed. Next to that is my elevation, how much I've climbed. Then distance, and then speed. So it should all make perfect sense. none of what I do matters, really. The intervals do when we stop and start, but my pace, my power, doesn't matter. You row, I knew I'd say at one point. You ride how you want to ride. Okay, going to do the same again, except this time we're going to go at a low cadence, okay? So really try and crank up the resistance if you can, and I want you to kind of mash through that power with a low cadence, trying to kind of get that power from your legs, right? Back, rest for 15 seconds. So basically we're just doing the same thing again, 6 of these. Whack up the resistance on your spin bike, or like for me it's like just, trying to get my gears up, and then a nice low cadence to try and hit that, again, 8 out of 10 intensity. Just feeling the power. You can see I'm doing 45 RPM right now. Okay. Now obviously it's unlikely you're going to be doing that out on the road or anything, but it's a good power moment for your legs right now. 3, 2, 1. Oh crikey. Spitting gears all the way down here. So if you've got like an erg bike, just whack the drag factor up to max or something, or close to max for these, and just really, there you go, rest, or not rest, but ride slower. So no matter what kind of bike you're on, just make this tough, okay? 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oh, there we go. I have issues hitting the bottom gear on this bike sometimes. So really push through, really feel that circle of power coming from your legs. You're not just pushing down at the front. It's a nice circle all the way through. When we get into the tempo section, I'll maybe talk a bit more about that. 3, 2, 1, there we go. So if you're on a spin bike or a bike erg, just go up to max for these intervals and then maybe reduce it back to your kind of cruising drag for the 15-second rests. I don't think, it won't be that often I do one of these where we stop dead and do a rest. It'll pretty much always be an active recovery. 3, 2, 1. Oh, see, I can't get to that bottom gear, come on. You're embarrassing me. Just push your way through this. It's as though you're climbing up a really steep hill. And 0. Okay, so that's the end of them. So get yourself comfortable. We're going to do another 2 minutes at that slightly higher intensity than warm up, but still a kind of a spin down. Not spin down, what are you saying? I've still not got any of the terminologies right for this at all. You'll have to forgive me. These will get better. If you look at the RowAlong things I made, first ones were quite ropey. And then as I got used to making them and worked out how I'd describe things, I wouldn't say they got better, but they got less ropey. But you should be feeling, right now, this is kind of like a 6 or 7 out of 10. Okay, so you're working harder than you did in your warm up, but nowhere near as hard as you just were on those intervals. They should have been a good solid, hard workout, 8 out of 10. So doing this for 2 minutes, got another minute and change left for this one. And then we're going to do 5 minutes at a tempo pace. So really that's kind of, it's difficult because I'm going to say an 8 out of 10 intensity and you're going to be like, what, what we just did before? No, but it's cumulative. So you're not going to be going hard, fast cadence or hard, low cadence. You're going to be kind of your normal cruising cadence. If you're just going out for a ride, pushing yourself a little bit, not to a point of exhaustion where you're starting to find you're really tired, but I want you to put in, like I say, 8 out of 10 effort levels. So
just as though if you're going to go out and do a half-hour bike ride, kind of round about that intensity. I want you to kind of get the heart rate up. Mine's obviously playing up. There's no way my heart rate's only 100 right now. Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, let's hit this tempo. So there's 5 minutes of this, and I want you to, you can pick whatever cadence you want. So I've just flicked to gear so that I'm doing this at kind of 75 RPM, which, this is what I was saying for comparing it to rowing, where rowing's all about that kind of smooth flow of the stroke, whereas cycling is about shifting through your gears and being able to work at high cadence or work at low cadence and it not be too much of a issue for you. Whereas the difference between rowing at a high drag factor at 15 strokes per minute on a rower versus a low drag factor at 40 strokes a minute is huge. Now, it must be said, a lot of the time I pass when I'm making my RowAlong videos, I pass it by talking about technique. There isn't much, well, there's still quite a lot to be said about technique on a bike, but nowhere near as much as on the rowing machine. So, the main things I want you to think about is to not have hunched, like tense, straight arms and really kind of, well, tense being the active word. So be nice and loose, a little bend in the elbows. Ooh. So as you're kind of pedaling, your elbows are soaking up a little bit of the momentum of your left and right move. Don't really want you to be all over the place on the saddle. Try and keep relatively stable at the back. Even when you're sprinting hard, try not to be like bouncing off the saddle and things. So at the end of this 5-minute tempo, we're going to go into 8, what should we call them, sprints? No more than that. A super sprint, let's call it that. Write that down. So 8 super sprints, which is going to be 15 seconds. And I want this to be at the highest cadence you can manage, okay? So whereas the first set, the cadence was kind of under control, it was fast, but you probably had headroom to go faster if you wanted to. In the next set of intervals, I want you to get your cadence up as high as you can to effectively try and go as fast as you can. And what might happen there is that as you're trying to do it, you start bouncing on the saddle, boom, 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 just because of the power. So try not to do that. It's kind of easier said than done. And it's like, much like the rowing stroke, where if you're bouncing on the saddle, that's power you could be putting into the bike that you're putting into raising your body off the saddle instead. But then as for how to put the power through the pedals, remember it's not just a push down at the front. Depending on whether you're clipped into your pedals or in straps, might make a difference, but you really want to think about pushing across the top of the pedal stroke. So push across the top and then kind of angle your foot down, feather it as you come forwards through the pedal stroke. And what helps for that, it's another of my stupid analogies, but what helps is to think about at the bottom of the stroke, that feathering of the foot, it's as though you're wiping or scraping dog poo off the bottom of your shoe. So if you come in, scrape, scrape, so you go scrape and then push over the top, scrape, push over the top. And that's really all you need to know about the pedal stroke. If you can do it that way, then hopefully you're getting the right amount of efficiency, power into your pedals. Right, so in 15 seconds we're going to start doing our super sprints. So 15 seconds on, 30 seconds at a slower ride. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. So try and get that cadence up. So that's my bottom starting to bounce a little bit. 126 RPM, 115, 109. Okay, just Zwift can't quite work out what's going on because I'm not picking up any power. There we go. So really think of what can I call this? This isn't a rest. Soft pedal, easy pedal might do. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, and again. Get that cadence up. Even if you have to reduce your resistance or whatever you've got, this is about trying to get max cadence. Obviously, I still want you to feel some kind of effort through the pedals. It's not just like putting everything down to zero. You still need to be connecting and putting some force into the bike. But I want it to be at a super sprint high cadence. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Right, so get that cadence up. Oh. See, I'm still messing around with my power settings for Zwift. Overdoing it a bit. Okay. So like I said, be really interested to find out how you feel this is working. Just the right way to do it for you. Don't know how many people will see it first off. I'm hoping at least Dusty will see it and let me know how it works. I'm more than happy to delete this and try again if this isn't working for you. But it is for me. 3, 2, 1, go. Get that cadence up. Really think about spinning through. So there we go. So I've got good connection power-wise, and I'm at 117 RPM. Right, so what gear was that in? 3. So I'm big ring at the front. I am moving. Big ring at the front, 3 at the back. So that kind of golden arch that you can see on Zwift, that's my go point, and it's all measured for the full 30-second rest. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. This is the 5th one. Get that cadence up. You should feel your legs starting to burn a little bit now. You should feel that kind of dead feeling. There we go. Not dead. That kind of zingy feeling. I don't know the best way to describe it. It's something I only feel on the bike. Don't really feel this when rowing. Maybe because rowing's all over body, whereas here, everything's okay apart from my thighs. So, right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Cadence up. Keep it going. These are super sprints, so I want you to be putting everything into this. Remember, it's only a half-hour workout today, so if you were looking for a hard workout, then hopefully you're putting in the effort to make this a hard workout. Maybe you've never been on the bike for, excuse me, never been on the bike for a solid half hour before. And this is just a handy way to get you riding for that duration. Here we go, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, wrong gear, come on. That's better. Really think about scraping that dog poo off your shoe. Like I say, it's not just that, it's pushing over the top of the pedal stroke. Push. Not just stamping down at the front. 15 seconds to go until the next one, which is our last one. So make sure and put everything into this. I want you to go high cadence, high as you can, fast as you can. 2, 1, go. Keep it going, try and control your backside from bouncing off the saddle. And there we go. Well, I seem to be in some strange super tuck right now. Oh, am I going uphill or something? What's going on? Oh, it's just Zwift doing it again. Oh. Who's clicking? Stop it. Right, we're about to hit the cool down. 5-minute cool down, so you actually start off the cool down at slightly more pressure than you were just riding the easy pedal at the end of the interval sets just then. So, and then we're going to gradually reduce your intensity over the next 5 minutes. And just let your body cool down, really. Or if you want to do the cool down afterwards, you can just go back into that kind of tempo pace for this 5 minutes. So just put the resistance up a little bit and make it, just get up with your cadence as well and just make it that kind of 8 out of 10 effort again. But those super sprints at the end, for me anyway, turn that into a nice little workout. It's almost like the 20 of 2 minutes, can't work out the maths, all the time up until those super sprints basically. It's almost like one giant warm up to get to them. And again, if you're thinking, well, that's a nice interesting warm up, or sorry, workout, I'd like to do a bit more, then just strap in and maybe do 4 minutes on, 1 minute off, 5 times. That good kind of 8 out of 10 intensity, that'll boost you up. I mean, I'll do that as a standalone ride-along workout at one point, but just trying to give you ideas if you're looking for more. That's the thing about cycling, is that I'm so used to, on the rowing machine, having half-hour sessions or I mean, most of my trainings kind of hovers around about the hour long. But back in my days of being a cyclist, I'd get on the bike and go out for like 5 hours. And I'm not going to make a ride along for 5 hours, because that's just nonsense. So it's trying to get that intensity right, that you can get a really good workout across 30 minutes. That's, I mean, admittedly, if you're a proper road cyclist type person, you're probably, well, to be honest, you probably didn't even make it this far through the video, so I'm not entirely sure who I'm talking to. But it's not for them. It's for people that have an indoor trainer and they're just looking for just a way to pass half an hour or so in a bit more of an interesting way than just sticking on a episode of The Good Place or something and just riding your bike with no real thought for them. Here, the kind of up and downy, raising heart rate and lowering heart rate is actually really good for you. It's good for your heart. It helps with, if you're looking for fat burning, it kind of helps with that, because your metabolic status status keeps on changing, so your body doesn't just adapt to what you're doing. It has to keep on guessing. So I've just gone blank because I believe the camera just cut out. In which case, this will all just have gone full screen and you won't get my lovely face as I sign off. So what I'll do is I'll just talk to you through this last minute 15 with the cool down, and you'll just have my virtual backside to keep you company. So I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, like I say, this is very much a work in progress, trying to work out how to make these, what kind of hits the mark for you guys. Is running Zwift the best thing to do? I think it probably is. I think having Zwift running gives you something more interesting to look at. Because it's not like on the rowing ones, you get to watch me rowing and you try and keep up with my stroke rate, so it's quite important you see me. Whereas on this, you really don't need to see me. In fact, I could probably just do it like this the whole time. Just a full screen Zwift and that's it, but anyway. So, do leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of it. Everything will just kind of fall under the RowAlong banner for the time being. If enough people are interested in it, then I'll do like an offshoot proper RideAlong thing instead of RowAlong. But yeah, it was interesting for me. I know a few things I want to change for the next one. Hopefully you enjoyed it and got good workout anyway. And hopefully you kept up with me when I kind of forgot my terminology or didn't tell you that super sprint at the end was meant to be a 10 out of 10 and stuff. But there you go, and that's my metrics at the end of Zwift. So if nothing else, this is a fantastic advert for Zwift, isn't it? Yeah, so I rode 12.5 kilometers, just over half an hour, and I burnt off the equivalent of 1 pizza slice. That's pretty handy, isn't it? Anyway, thank you so much for being part of this new test. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.